Elias Moore was used to chaos. As the director of community outreach at Havenbrook Medical Center, he had managed emergencies, handled impossible deadlines, and trained countless interns. But nothing, and he meant nothing, had prepared him for Harper Lane. She was brilliant, kind, and completely ignoring him. At least, that's what he thought. Every question he asked went unanswered. Every attempt to connect was met with averted eyes. By day 5 of her internship, frustration had replaced curiosity. Had he done something wrong? Or was she deliberately shutting him out? Then came a single, trembling message. One line that changed everything, and revealed a secret neither of them expected. The reason I haven't been responding is because I can't hear you. In that instant, Elias realized this wasn't avoidance. It wasn't disrespect. It was fear. And he had just become the one person Harper could trust. Little did he know, trust would be tested in ways neither of them could have imagined. Before we dive into the gripping details of this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more thrilling stories. Elias Moore prided himself on reading people well. As the director of community outreach at Havenbrook Medical Center, he'd coached countless interns, mentored new staff, and navigated the hurricane-level chaos of hospital life for nearly 2 decades. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared him for Harper Lane. Harper was bright, sharp-minded, and astonishingly kind. She carried hope the way some people carried umbrellas, always ready to share it with the next person bracing for a storm. And from the day she arrived, Elias noticed she listened with her whole heart. At least, that's what he thought. Because for the past week, she'd been avoiding him. Or so it seemed. She would lower her head every time he spoke, fidget with her tablet during meetings, mumble acknowledgments without meeting his eyes. And she never responded when he asked if she had questions. At first he told himself it was shyness. By day 3, he suspected disinterest. By day 5, he could feel frustration tightening his chest. Had he done something wrong? Had he failed her somehow? Or worse, was she simply ignoring him? On Friday afternoon, after Harper slipped out of the conference room as though she were escaping a burning building, Elias made a decision. He typed a polite but unmistakably direct message on the internal hospital chat. "Harper, if something isn't working in your internship, please tell me. Communication goes both ways, and I want to make sure you're getting what you need." He stared at the screen, feeling more exposed than he wanted to admit. Minutes ticked by. 10, 15. No response. He sighed, pinched the bridge of his nose, and shut down his computer. He was halfway down the hallway when his phone buzzed. "Mr. Moore, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you think I was ignoring you. I actually didn't know how to tell you what's been going on." A chill slid down his spine. Something in her wording, soft, trembling even through text, made him stop in the middle of the corridor. He typed quickly, "Harper, whatever it is, you can tell me. Are you all right?" There was a much longer pause this time. Long enough for him to worry. Long enough for him to imagine every worst-case scenario a hospital veteran could possibly conjure. Then her message appeared. A single sentence that made his breath catch. "The reason I haven't been responding is because I can't hear you. I've been hiding my hearing loss since the internship started." Elias leaned against the wall, heart pounding, not with frustration now, but with something far more tender, protective, and painfully understanding. Memories he had spent years locking away began to surface, uninvited and sharp. He knew exactly what it felt like to hide something that important. Before he could respond, another message arrived, this time a voice memo. He hesitated only a moment before pressing play. Static, and then Harper's trembling voice. "I didn't want you to think I wasn't capable. But it's getting worse, and I don't know how to tell my family. They think I'm fine. Everyone does. I'm sorry if I disappointed you. I just didn't know who else to trust." Elias felt something inside him shift, like the quiet click of a lock he thought would never open again. He exhaled deeply. This wasn't avoidance. This wasn't disrespect. This was fear. Loneliness. A plea for help from someone who had finally reached their breaking point. He typed, hand steady now. "Harper, you haven't disappointed me. Not even close. We'll figure this out together. But there's something you don't know about me either. He stared at the half-written sentence, wrestling with a truth he hadn't shared with anyone at the hospital in years. Should he tell her? Could he? His thumb hovered over the keyboard. Before he could decide, a new message popped up from Harper, short, hurried, and frightening. "Mr. Moore, something just happened. I need help. Please don't tell anyone yet. Me." The message ended abruptly, cut off mid-sentence. Elias's pulse surged. Meet her where? What happened? Was she safe? The hallway suddenly felt too quiet, too still. He waited for the rest of the message, but nothing came. Elias reread the message 3 times, each pass tightening the knot in his chest. Meet me, and then nothing. Not a location, not a follow-up, not even the familiar 3 dots that meant she was typing. He tried calling her. Straight to voicemail. He tried messaging again. "Harper, where are you? Are you safe? Reply as soon as you can." The seconds crawled by. No answer. His mind raced through the campus map, trying to imagine where she might have gone. She wouldn't go to the cafeteria. Too loud. Probably not the lobby. Too crowded. Somewhere quiet, somewhere she could think. Somewhere she felt small enough to hide, yet desperate enough to reach out. And then it hit him. The old pediatric wing. Half renovated, half forgotten, and always empty on Fridays. Staff walked past it 100 times a day but rarely stepped inside. Elias took off down the corridor. The automatic doors hissed open as he entered the old wing. The lights buzzed faintly overhead, casting long shadows over faded murals of smiling cartoon animals. The air smelled like dust and memories. "Harper," he called gently. The word echoed. Silence. Then, footsteps, soft and hesitant, coming from around the corner. He followed the sound and found her sitting on the floor outside an unused therapy room, her knees drawn up to her chest, fingers gripping her phone as if it were the only thing keeping her anchored. Her eyes lifted when she heard him, and in that moment, Elias didn't see an intern. He saw a terrified young woman trying to hold herself together with trembling hands. "Mr. Moore," she whispered. He knelt beside her, not close enough to crowd, but close enough to show he was there, fully present, fully listening. "What happened?" he asked softly. Harper swallowed hard, twisting the hem of her sleeve. I got dizzy again. The ringing in my ears got so loud I couldn't understand anything around me. I tried to go to the restroom, but everything went blurry. I didn't want anyone to see, so I came here. And then..." Her breath hitched. "And then I panicked. I didn't know who to call, and you were the only one I thought might understand." Elias felt the air tilt around him, heavy with the weight of her fear, and with something else he'd been carrying for too long. "Harper," he said gently, "I need to tell you something." She turned to him, eyes wide and searching. He hesitated, not because he didn't trust her, but because saying it aloud meant reopening a chapter of his life he'd carefully sealed away. "I know what it's like," he began quietly, "to lose something you depend on. Something everyone assumes is fine. Something you learn to hide because hiding feels easier than explaining." Her brows drew together. "What do you mean?" Elias inhaled, steadying himself. "I meant to tell you earlier," he said. "The reason I understood your message so quickly is because you're not the only one with a hearing condition." Harper froze, a breath caught in her throat. He continued, voice soft but sure. "Mine started after an accident years ago. I've learned to manage it, but some days are harder than others. I wasn't ignoring you, and you weren't ignoring me. We've both just been afraid." The look she gave him then, astonishment, relief, and something warm enough to soften the entire hallway, made Elias's heart twist. "You, too," she whispered. He nodded. "You're not alone. Not today. Not ever again if I can help it." For the first time since she arrived, Harper let herself lean, ever so slightly, toward him. Not for support, but for connection. For understanding. "Thank you," she murmured. He offered a small smile. "You don't have to thank me. You just have to let me help." Before she could answer, a loud clang echoed from deeper inside the wing, sharp, metallic, and unmistakably deliberate. Harper startled. Elias stood instantly. The sound came again. Someone else was there. He moved in front of Harper protectively, instinctively, as the lights flickered overhead. Then a shadow passed across the far end of the corridor, slow, purposeful, heading their way. Elias swallowed hard. This part of the hospital was supposed to be empty. Very empty. He took a careful step back toward Harper. "Stay behind me," he whispered, but the figure kept coming. Elias's pulse thundered in his ears, louder, somehow, than the soft but deliberate footsteps approaching from the far end of the dim corridor. Harper clutched the fabric of his sleeve, barely above a whisper. Who is that? This wing is supposed to be closed." "I know," Elias murmured, edging subtly in front of her. "Which is why we're not taking any chances." The figure paused beneath a flickering ceiling light, still too far away for features to be clear. So, unmoving, watching. Elias lifted a hand in a silent signal for Harper to stay back. She obeyed immediately, her breath trembling against the quiet. "Hello," Elias called, voice steady though his heartbeat was not. "This area is restricted. May I help you find something?" The figure didn't answer. It only tilted its head, slowly, curiously, as though studying them. Harper's grip tightened. Elias felt her shiver. He took one step forward. The figure took one step forward too. His instincts sharpened. Something wasn't right. "Elias," Harper whispered. "We should go." He agreed, but the nearest exit was behind the figure, and the only other way out was a service stairwell halfway down the hall, past several darkened rooms. He needed to keep her calm. He needed to keep her safe. "On my count," he murmured, leaning back just enough for her to hear him. "We're going to move toward the stairwell. Nice and slow. Stay behind me. Don't run unless I tell you to." Harper nodded, though her hands shook. Elias took one careful step backward. Then another. The figure moved again, 2 steps this time. Not rushing, not threatening, but closing the distance all the same. Elias felt Harper's breath hitch. "Almost there," he whispered as they neared the stairwell door. Then, suddenly, a door behind the figure slammed open. The sound exploded through the hall like fireworks in a cave. Harper gasped. Elias spun toward her, shielding her instinctively. The figure jolted, whipped around, and for the first time, Elias caught a glimpse of a face. A young man, barely 20, wearing hospital scrubs he clearly didn't belong in. Eyes wide as if he'd been caught doing something he shouldn't. He looked past Elias, straight at Harper. "You shouldn't be here," the young man said, voice shaking. "Either of you." Elias stepped forward. "Sir, if you're lost." "I'm not lost." The young man swallowed. "I'm hiding." Harper flinched. "Hiding from who?" He darted a fearful glance over his shoulder. "That's the problem," he whispered. "I don't know their name, but they've been following me for 3 days." Elias froze. Harper's hand gripped his arm again. But the young man wasn't finished. "They work here," he whispered, "and I think they know I'm onto them." A door deeper in the wing creaked. The young man stiffened, eyes widening in terror. "They're coming," he breathed. "Right now." Elias turned slowly toward the sound, and saw, just at the edge of the darkness, a second shadow shifting toward them. For a moment, everything was still. The hallway stretched before them like a narrowing tunnel, the lights flickering in jittery pulses. Elias could feel Harper's fear radiating through her trembling grip on his arm, and the young man, who looked far too frightened to be lying, kept staring at the shifting darkness as though it might swallow him whole. "Elias," Harper whispered, her voice barely audible. "What do we do?" Before he could answer, the young man spoke again, his breath shaking. Whoever they are, they don't want me talking to anyone. I only came down this wing because I thought no one ever came here." Elias's mind raced. Someone following an intern? A young man hiding in a closed ward? A second figure now approaching? Too many unanswered questions. Not enough time. "Listen," Elias said quietly, "we're going to get out of here. All of us." The young man swallowed. "We won't make it if they see us." Elias steadied his voice. "We'll be fine. But you need to stop running and stick with me. Understand?" The young man nodded, wide-eyed. Another creak echoed down the hallway. Closer. Harper backed up until she hit the stairwell door. Elias reached behind him and pushed the metal bar, praying it wasn't locked. A soft click. Unlocked. Inside, he whispered urgently. Harper slipped through first. The young man followed. Elias stepped in last and eased the door shut, just enough to muffle sound, not enough to latch loudly. The stairwell was dim and cold, smelling faintly of concrete and old paint. The echoing drip of a leaky pipe punctuated the silence. Elias pressed a finger to his lips. The three of them stood frozen, listening. Footsteps entered the hallway outside. Slow, heavy. A deliberate pace, one that suggested the person wasn't searching. They already knew exactly where to look. Harper leaned closer to Elias. "Do you think they saw us?" He shook his head, though he wasn't entirely sure. On the other side of the door, the footsteps stopped. A soft, rhythmic tapping followed, knuckles against metal. The sound reverberated through the stairwell like a warning. Harper clapped a hand over her mouth. The young man nearly folded into himself. Elias held his breath. Then a voice, a calm, measured voice, filtered through the door. "I know you're in there." Harper's eyes widened in terror. The young man shook his head frantically. "That's them," he whispered. "That's the voice I've been hearing behind me. In the cafeteria. In the parking garage. Everywhere." Again, the voice spoke. "Come out. We need to talk. All of you." Elias motioned for silence, straining to hear more. But the footsteps moved again, this time toward the far end of the hallway. Then faded into nothing. The young man sagged with relief, but Elias wasn't fooled. "Who is that?" Harper whispered. The young man hugged his arms around himself. I work part-time in the records office. I thought I found something wrong in the patient files, something that didn't add up. And then someone started watching me, following me. I didn't know who to trust." Elias frowned. "What exactly did you find?" He hesitated. "I can't explain it. Not here. But it involves." A sudden crash cut him off. Somewhere below them, a door slammed open. Harper gasped. "They're coming up the stairwell." Elias grabbed her hand and the young man's sleeve. "Move," he whispered fiercely. "Now." They started climbing the stairs, trying to stay silent, but the footsteps below grew louder, ascending quickly, deliberately, gaining on them. Harper looked over her shoulder, panic rising. "Elias, they're almost." But she didn't get to finish, because just as they reached the landing, the lights above them flickered violently and went out, plunging the stairwell into complete darkness. A voice rose from the shadows below. "Colt, don't run." And then, silence. Elias froze in the pitch-black stairwell, his heart hammering so loudly he was certain it would give them away. Harper clutched his arm like a lifeline. The young man, pale and trembling, huddled beside them. "Stay calm," Elias whispered, trying to steady his own racing thoughts. "We can get through this." A low chuckle echoed from somewhere below, metallic and cold. "You can't hide," the voice said. Elias exhaled silently, then did the only thing he could think of. He flipped his phone's flashlight on, cutting a narrow beam through the darkness. The light illuminated the stairs for a few feet ahead and revealed nothing. "Move!" Elias hissed, gripping Harper's hand and the young man's sleeve. He led them up the stairs, 2 steps at a time. Footsteps pounded behind them. Determined. When they reached the top landing, Elias realized they were in the hospital's old rooftop access area. The emergency exit was ahead, a door that led to a small fire escape outside. "We're almost there," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. Harper's grip tightened. "Elias, do you think they'll stop?" He shook his head. "Not until we confront them or get help." As they reached the door, it rattled violently. Someone was trying to force it open from the other side. "Push!" Elias yelled. They threw their combined weight against it. With a final shove, the door burst open, and they spilled onto the fire escape outside. Cold night air hit them, and the city lights below seemed impossibly far away. They slid down the narrow stairs, adrenaline giving them speed. At the bottom, Elias turned toward the stairwell. A shadow appeared in the doorway, a tall figure silhouetted against the flickering lights inside. "You can't run forever," the voice said. But Elias didn't hesitate. He grabbed Harper and the young man's hands. "Come on, out of here." They sprinted across the rooftop parking lot toward the main hospital entrance, lights flashing as a security guard approached. Elias raised his voice. "Help! Someone's following us." The guard's eyes widened as he saw the panic-stricken trio. He radioed for backup immediately. Meanwhile, Harper tugged at Elias's sleeve. "Thank you for believing me," she whispered, her voice shaking but full of relief. He smiled, squeezing her hand. "You never had to be alone in this, Harper. Not now. Not ever." The young man looked at Elias with wide eyes. "But I thought no one would help me." "You're safe," Elias said firmly. "All of you." Police arrived moments later, and the shadowy figure was apprehended, a hospital employee who had been secretly trying to cover up serious malpractice. The young man's discovery had threatened to expose them, and they'd been following him, trying to intimidate him into silence. Inside the hospital, after the adrenaline faded, Harper and Elias sat together in the quiet of the empty lounge. "You know," she said softly, "I thought I was hiding my hearing loss, but I feel like you've been hiding something too." Elias chuckled lightly, shaking his head. "Maybe, but some things are easier to share when you're not alone." Harper smiled, a warmth in her eyes that made his chest tighten. "And I'm glad you're not alone anymore," she added. He leaned back in his chair, exhaling slowly. "Neither are you." For the first time since she started her internship, Harper felt safe, truly safe, and for the first time in years, Elias felt the same. Two hearts scarred by fear, brought together by trust and courage. But as they watched the first responders leave the parking lot, a chill ran down Elias's spine. From across the street, a shadow lingered, someone watching. And in that shadowed silhouette, Elias could feel the faintest trace of danger still unspoken, still unresolved. The night wasn't completely over. And neither were their heart stories. Weeks had passed since the rooftop incident. Harper's internship continued, but now with a renewed sense of confidence. She no longer hid her hearing loss, and Elias had been her steadfast guide, checking in, adapting meetings, and even learning a few basic sign language phrases just for her. The hospital corridors no longer felt intimidating. Together, they walked side by side, sometimes in silence, sometimes laughing softly, each step a quiet reminder that trust could heal old fears. One Friday evening, as the sun dipped below the city skyline, Elias and Harper found themselves alone in the hospital garden. The autumn air was crisp, carrying the scent of fallen leaves and the distant hum of city life. "You know," Harper said, looking at him with a small, mischievous smile, "I thought I'd be afraid forever. But I'm not as long as you're here." Elias's chest tightened. He wanted to tell her everything he felt, the relief, the admiration, the tenderness, but words felt too small. Instead, he reached for her hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. "And I'll always be here," he said simply. They stood in comfortable silence, hearts beating in unison. For the first time, the shadows of fear felt distant. Yet as they turned to leave, Elias caught a movement in the corner of his eye, a familiar shadow at the edge of the parking lot. Not threatening this time. Watching. Waiting. He glanced at Harper. "Seems like some mysteries never fully disappear." She smiled, leaning slightly against him. "Then let's face them together." Elias nodded, feeling a quiet thrill, not of fear, but of hope. For the first time in a long time, the future felt wide open. And with Harper beside him, he knew they could face anything, together. The wind rustled the leaves, carrying the promise of new beginnings, whispered secrets, and a bond forged in trust, courage, and something deeper, something neither of them could yet name.